Khnum, also known as Khnemu, Kenmu, Kenmu, and Chnum, was one of the oldest gods in Egypt, with worship that dates back to the pre-dynastic period. Ancient texts, such as the pyramid texts of King Unas, confirm that Khnum's worship was well established early on in Egyptian history. Even the pharaoh Khufu was named Khnum Khufu, meaning Khnum is his protector. However, it appears that the worship of the god Ra became dominant during that time, pushing Khnum's worship to the background as Khufu's descendants, Khafre and Menkaura, chose names honoring Ra. Khnum was originally a god of water, believed to govern all bodies of water, including the rivers and lakes of the underworld. He was associated with the source of the Nile and was responsible for ensuring that the annual flood deposited enough precious black silt onto the riverbanks to make them fertile. This silt also provided the raw material for pottery, linking Khnum closely with the art of pottery. According to one creation myth, Khnum molded everything on his potter's wheel, including both people and other gods. In Unit, Esna in Upper Egypt, it was believed that Khnum also created the first egg from which the sun was born, as Nefertum, Atum, or Ra. Besides creating the body and the Ka, spirit of each newborn child, he could also bless the child. The Westkar papyrus from the Second Intermediate Period includes the story of Khufu and the magician, in which the births of 3 pharaohs are attended by the goddesses Isis, Nephthys, Meskenet, Heket, and Khnum. After each child was born, Khnum bestowed the gift of health upon them. Pharaoh Hatshepsut also claimed that Khnum had formed her Ka and granted her the blessing of health at the request of her father, Amun-Ra. Khnum was also a protective deity of the dead. Spells invoking Khnum's assistance can be found in the Book of the Dead and on many of the heart scarabs buried with the deceased, as it was believed that he would help the deceased obtain a favorable judgment in the halls of Maat. The ram was considered a very potent animal, and thus Khnum was associated with fertility. He is featured on the famine stele, found on Sahel Island. The stele, allegedly inscribed during the reign of Djoser, tells the story of a dream where the pharaoh saw that the god would end a terrible famine if a temple was built in his honor. The pharaoh immediately consecrated a temple to Khnum, and as promised, the famine ended. Khnum was one of the gods believed to assist Ra in his perilous nightly journey through the underworld. It is also believed that Khnum created the boat that carried Ra and helped defend the sun god against the serpent Apep, Apophis. Moreover, Khnum was sometimes considered the Ba, soul of Ra, because the word for Ram in Egyptian also meant Ba. When Khnum merged with Ra to form the composite deity Khnum-Ra, this deity became associated with Nun, who represented the primeval waters, and was given the epithet Hap-ur, Great Nile, or Nile of Heaven. Khnum's cult was centered on the island of Abu, Elephantine in Upper Egypt, where he had been worshipped since the early dynastic period. During the New Kingdom, he was worshipped there as the head of a triad with his wife, Satet, and his daughter, Anuket. He was also worshipped in Esna, Unit, where he was thought to be married to both Menhet and Nebtu, a local goddess, and was considered the father of Heka, the god of magic known as he who activates the Ka. He was also believed to be the husband of Neith at Esna. In Antinoe, Herwer, Khnum was married to Heket, the frog goddess associated with childbirth and conception. Occasionally, Khnum was associated with Isis to represent Upper Egypt, just as Ptah was associated with Nephthys in representing Lower Egypt. Khnum's name derives from the root knem, meaning to join, to unite, and also to build. Astronomically, the name refers to the conjunction of the sun and moon at specific seasons of the year. Khnum was considered the father of fathers and the mother of mothers of the pharaohs. As a water god, he was sometimes called Kebih, meaning purify. Khnum was depicted either as a ram, a man with the head of a ram, or a man with ram horns. He was very rarely depicted with the head of a hawk, indicating his solar connections. He often wore the plumed white crown of Upper Egypt, and was sometimes shown holding a jar with water flowing out of it, symbolizing his link with the source of the Nile. During the early period, Khnum was depicted with the early type of domesticated ram, with long corkscrew horns growing horizontally outwards from his head. but in later times he was represented by the same type of ram as Amun, with horns curving inward.